All right, it's 6 p.m., August 24th. I call this meeting of the Clear Creek Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that its notice has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. And with that, we'll start with our public hearing.
Ms. Benzai, Chief Financial Officer, will present information for the public hearing to discuss the 26-27 budget and proposed tax rate.
Good evening. Tonight we are holding our public hearing for a review of the 26-27 budget and the 2026 tax rate. The items that we'll cover tonight are our budget goals, priorities, and challenges that the board approved and reviewed this past spring. We will look at the general fund proposed budget, including the assumptions, enrollment, and the proposal. We will look at debt service and child nutrition budgets, as well as our 2026 tax rate and property value histories. And then we'll look at the remaining steps for the budget approval this year and open it up for any questions. So our budget goal that was adopted earlier this year is that our 26-27 budget will further CCISD's mission and strategic plan with financial integrity, maximizing benefits from available resources. There were several assumptions that were built into this budget. Number one being managing our resources efficiently and effectively, including identifying ways to increase revenues and decrease expenditures to return to a balanced budget by fiscal year 27-28. This budget assumes that we will retain the 5% local optional homestead exemption and maximize our 8 enrichment pennies, also known as our golden pennies. We will incorporate expenditure reduction savings and revenue enhancements and use a realistic defined average daily attendance, which assumes an enrollment loss of 1,000 students from last year and the final 25-26 attendance rate. We will maintain an adequate general fund balance, which calls for 2 months in fund balances of expenditures and fund balance as defined by our board policy, and we will maximize revenue through the sale of surplus property. Our budget priorities that the board set were to have optimal and targeted funding and staffing for improved student achievement, meeting our strategic plan goals. Providing sufficient funding for safe and secure programs, including student support and counseling services. Implementing initiatives that create enrollment growth opportunities, such as Clear Tech and our open enrollment policy. We reviewed efficiencies in programs and human capital to achieve cost savings and provided for competitive salary stipends and benefits for all employees. We also prioritize maximizing our state revenues through attendance incentives and state funding opportunities. That attendance initiatives is leading to a 95% attendance rate, which has helped our revenues. Leverage excess reserves and existing funds to meet our current budget challenges and exploring facility utilization efficiencies. In every budget, there are several challenges, and so I won't go through all of these, but we did identify our 9 challenges that we have. Of course, at the top of the list is enrollment or average daily attendance falling below our projections due to the unknown impact of educational savings accounts. We also have an unknown impact on our state funding formulas due to the changes that the state has incorporated with special education intensity tiers. Another major challenge we have that we have dealt with over the past couple of months has been the rising cost of our employee health benefits, which rose by $3 million with the new 26-27 premium rates. And an inadequate state funding model for providing a quality public education. So we'll take a look now at our general fund, and of course, it's full of several assumptions. I mentioned earlier the assumption of a loss of 1,000 students. We budgeted what our demographers PASA had anticipated or projected of 37,718. And I did want to mention here that each 1,000 students, if you look at it times the basic allotment of 6,215, you're looking at $6.2 million, but we also know our students generate additional funding because of different programs they're in. So that number is closer to about $9 million in state funding loss from that. We are incorporating a 95% attendance rate. Our property value change assumption is actually, we kept it the same. It came in with a 1.73% decline. And we also have incorporated some revenue from property value audits of $5 million. That's one-time funding. We are looking at our state aid for adjustment of limitation on tax increases for the homestead. That's a relatively new allotment that we have been receiving of $2.7 million. We're looking at $1.8 million for new special ed funding for that intensity formulas. And then we're also proposing to maintain our tax rate with no tax rate increase. It's 69.9 cents on the M&O side and 27 cents on the INS side, with a tax collection rate of 99.25. So, of course, student enrollment and student attendance is the largest driver in our budget, and I wanted to take a look back at the history of our student enrollment. Back in 2012-13, we were at 39,634. We hit our maximum enrollment in 2019-20 at 42,387. This past year, we were at 38,780. And as of actually last Wednesday, 37,476, we are seeing our enrollment continue to go up a little bit. We always look up through September 1st, the first week in September. As of today, we are at 37,559. So it's gone up not quite 100 students since last Wednesday. But we do believe that we will hit our enrollment target that's in our budget. So our general fund budget that we are proposing tonight has $409,580,000 in revenue. The largest change in our revenue sources this year was a drop in our state and local tax entitlement due to that loss in students. That's about a $16 million drop. And looking at our expenditures, we are recommending budgeting $432,380,000. A few things on that I went over last week. We had brought in our salary increase of about $7.5 million. We have an increase in our SRO contract with Galveston County of about $900,000. And maintenance and utility costs have risen as well, which is another $850,000. So those are some of the increases in our expenditures that are built into this budget. We also have reductions. We were able to reduce 77 full-time units for a savings of $5.2 million. And we also were able to take a look at our budget and some historical trends and reduce that payroll budget by about $2.6 million. So after revenues and expenditures, we have a deficit of $22.8 million, a budgeted deficit. We would anticipate that we would utilize capital and contingency funds for whatever that deficit turns out to be. We are anticipating that the $12.5 million budget deficit that you approved last year, that we're bringing that down. Our estimates right now are closer to $4 million, so that's good news. That's through expenditure savings, not hitting, 100% of our budget on the expenditure side, and we also came right in on our revenue side on the budgeted revenue versus actual. When you look down at our proposed budget by category, our payroll cost is 87% of the budget. That is our largest expense. The next largest expense is contracted services at 7%. So that would be made up of utilities, which is about $10 million of that, our SRO contract, and our appraisal district fees that we pay to Galveston County and Harris County. Falling behind that is supplies and materials at 4%. The bulk of that is really software, fuel, campus supplies, maintenance supplies, and then finally our other category at 2%. Taking a look at our budget by major function, the major functional areas, you will see that we are spending 64% of our budget on instruction and instructional related services. The next area is instructional and school leadership. It's 7%. That would be things like our instructional administration and our school leadership, school administrative offices. Our student support services are at 13%, and that would be our counseling, our nurses, our transportation, and extracurricular activities. Our administrative support services are at 2%. Our support services, and that would really be things, non-student support, which is categorized as maintenance, security, technology, runs about 13%. And then finally, other miscellaneous is a little less than 1% of our budget. So taking a look at our debt service fund. Our debt service fund is utilized to collect the taxes and pay the principal and interest on our bonded debt. Our tax rate in this budget remains at 27 cents. And currently at August 31st of 2026, we have $1,093,530,000 in general obligation bond principal outstanding. This budget reflects a deficit of $7.6 million. We have sufficient fund balance in this fund to cover that, as we will look at this over the next several years to see if our tax rate needs adjustment. But right now, the tax rate is sufficient through the use of bringing in current taxes, interest, and state revenue, as well as our reserves that we currently have to fund the principal and interest on our bonds. That will leave $29.9 million reserves in the debt service fund at the end of the year in 2027. And finally, the board will be asked to approve the Child Nutrition Fund budget tonight. This is a balanced budget, as was last year's. It's funded through payments from students for their meals, as well as federal reimbursement for meals. And the main cost there, of course, is payroll and food supplies. Finally, a look at our tax rate. Looking at our tax rate over the past few years, looking at our tax value, property value, as you can see, we have really, when we talk about property value, we have the market value of property and we have the taxable value of properties. And the difference are exemptions that businesses or homeowners receive. And so if you look back in 2022, we had $38.8 billion in market value between both counties, Harris County and Galveston County. At the time, we had a $40,000 homestead exemption and a $10,000 over 65 homestead exemption, along with a $2,500 business and personal property exemption. If you look over the years, over the next 4 years, you'll see that although our market value of our properties have grown to currently $47.8 billion, our taxable value has stayed relatively flat. And you will see as we go 23, 24, you can see the state increase that homestead exemption up to $100,000. The other exemptions stayed the same. Moving into 2025 tax year, that homestead exemption was $140,000 and the over 65 exemption rose to $60,000. And then for 2026, while we're maintaining that same $140,000 homestead exemption and $60,000 over 65 exemption, the business personal property exemption has risen to $125,000. So that's incorporated into this coming year's tax. So really the main thing is that because of these exemptions, our taxable values have remained relatively flat, even in light of our market values increasing significantly. Looking at our proposed tax rate compared to last year's tax rate, you'll see that our maximum compressed rate, which is approved by TEA, remains at 61.9 cents, and that is a reflection of our relatively flat property value growth this year. Our Tier 2 pennies or golden pennies are 8 cents, leaving our maintenance and operations tax rate at 69.9 cents. Adding on our interest and sinking rate of 27 cents, we are proposing a total tax rate of 96.9 cents. Looking at our proposed levy with last year's levy on the average residences, you can see the average market value of our residence has gone down from $406,460 to $397,201. The taxable value, average taxable value of residences has also gone down from $226,997 to $214,115. And so applying our tax rate on that, our taxpayers will actually see a decrease in tax payment or average taxpayer of $63.78 this year. So with that, our school district budget requirements have been met. These are established through the Texas Education Code and the TEA. That our budget must be prepared each year by August 20th and adopted by August 31st. We must hold a public meeting, which is tonight, giving at least 10 days public notice in the newspaper for the adoption of the district budget. We must post a summary of the proposed budget on our website, and you will find it there. The budgets for the general fund, food service fund, and debt service fund must be included in our official district budget. And these budgets have to be prepared and approved at least at the fund and the function level to comply with the state's legal level of control mandates. And you will, later on tonight, when you're asked to approve the budget, it will be by function. Looking at our next steps, tonight we will ask you to approve our 26-27 budget. And on September 28th, we will ask you to adopt our 2026 tax rate. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Benzai. This being a public hearing, are there any members of the community who wish to make a comment about the public hearing presentation? Seeing none, I'll open it up to trustees. Any questions and comments? None at this time. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Benzai. All right. So next up is our recognitions. Oh, wait. Nope. Pledge.
And we'll kind of put all that together. So we're going to have our recognition honorees come on up and help me say the pledge, because y'all are good at it. All right, so please stand for the pledges. And who gets to start?
I knew that was going to fall on me. That's all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
And please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Perfect. We're good. All right. Well, we are so excited to have a chance to honor our new building principals. We're recognizing an outstanding group of leaders who are beginning new roles in Clear Creek ISD. 12 new principals are leading campuses across the district, some stepping into principal role for the first time, and others bringing their experience to new CCISD campuses. So the principal role is one of the most important positions in public education. Research consistently shows that among all school-based workplace factors affecting student achievement, the classroom teacher has the greatest impact, and the campus principal is second. Strong principals help create the conditions where great teaching thrives, students feel safe and supported, and ensure that every decision is focused on the main thing, student success. So we're incredibly proud of these outstanding leaders and the professionalism, passion, and commitment they bring to their schools and the CCISD community every day. So it is my honor to introduce these new principals to Clear Creek ISD. And so please join me, and I have the information regarding their previous role and the number of years of service. So I'll just kind of go down the line and share that. And we'll start, since you're first, with Corey West. Previous role, assistant principal at Clearbrook High School. He is a Clear Path Alternative School principal, and he's been in education for 12 years. Let's give him a round. Okay, next is Erin Smith. She is now the principal of Clear Springs High School. Previous role, principal at Creekside Intermediate, and she's been in education for 17 years. Okay, and Jeffrey Prince, Westbrook Intermediate principal. Previous role, assistant principal at Westbrook Intermediate, and he's been in education for 14 years. And Vanessa Reyes, Creekside Intermediate principal, previous role, assistant principal at Clear Springs High School. She's been in education for 25 years, and she has been a previous principal also in another district. Congratulations. Okay, now I am going to have to, I've got y'all's, hang on just a minute. Okay, I'm starting at the, I've got several elementary, but I got to get the right number of years. So, Pamela Baggett, principal at North Point Elementary. Previous role, assistant principal at North Point Elementary. And she's been in education for 20 years, all at North Point. Congratulations. All right, next is Holly Troyer, principal at Ferguson Elementary. Previous role, assistant principal at Weber Elementary, and she's been in education for 23 years. Next, Dr. Kara Massey, Falcon Pass Elementary principal. Previous role, assistant principal at Clear Lake Intermediate, and she's been in education for 20 years. Got you in here, Betsy. All right, next is Betsy Horner. She is principal at Bay Elementary, previous principal at Whitcomb Elementary, and she's been in education for 23 years, and that is Dr. Betsy Horner. All right, Kimberly Fernandez, principal at Ross Elementary, previous role, assistant principal at Bowerschlag Elementary, and she's been in education for 28 years. Congratulations. All right, next we have Shanier Bibb, Campbell Elementary principal, previous role, assistant principal at Campbell Elementary, and she's been in education for 25 years. There we go. Jenny Toops, Whitcomb Elementary principal, previous role at Bay Elementary, and she's been in education for 21 years. And Ms. Erin Tite, principal at McWhorter Elementary, previous role, principal at Campbell Elementary, and she's been in education for 33 years. All right, we are so excited. Oh, we need a picture. Is that right? Oh, okay, good. Okay, and before, did y'all notice like a common theme? Everyone has been a assistant principal and or has had some other role in the district. We're really proud of where's Dr. Branch, grow your own, right? And these are amazing people, but just bringing them up and having them go to different campuses and learning from each other. We're so proud. Would you mind if I put you on the spot, Erin? She doesn't mind because she's been in the business long as anybody. But what would you say is one secret to being a principal, which this is your third school? I know, her third school.
I don't think it's a secret. I think relationships with people and teachers and community. That's the secret.
Not bad. You know what? I think that's it. Well said. Congratulations. We are so excited for this journey, new school, new whatever. And we are just so proud of y'all. So thank you so much. Thank y'all. Okay.
All right. Next up is our district update. Dr. Engel?
All right. Well, the 26-27 school year is off to a great start with more than 37,500 students engaging in great learning experiences. And our 2026 state accountability score reinforces the fact that we provide a world-class education. Clear Creek ISD is rated the highest among large school districts in Region 4 that have more than 25,000 students. We are incredibly proud of the work of our teachers, principals, students, families, and our trustees to achieve an overall 89. We have 17 A-rated schools, including all 7 of our high schools in Clear Creek ISD. This is an accomplishment achieved by only 5 large districts in the state of Texas. Many of our elementary and intermediate schools saw significant gains as well. As we all know, accountability ratings tell only part of the story. Our success is based on relationships, just as Ms. Tite said, safe environments and opportunities to explore passions. Here's a short video highlighting back to school in Clear Creek ISD. That's our video.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Engel. All right, next up is community input. The purpose of community input is for the entire board to receive feedback from citizens. The board will hear the public comments but will not respond, except as authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act. Matters brought forth that require a response will be addressed by the superintendent as appropriate. Community input is scheduled for 30 minutes and has 2 forums. Those requesting to address the board regarding items on the board agenda are granted up to 3 minutes to address their topics, and those who sign up to address items not on the board agenda are granted 1 minute. On behalf of the board, the superintendent, and CCISD staff, We welcome your input during CCSD school board meetings. We request that everyone exhibit the respect and understanding each person deserves when addressing the school board during the public input portion of the meeting. And with that, first person is Mr. Paul Wasserloos. Not here. Okay. And next is Mr. Jeff Hasley. Where's Jeff?
Thank you, President Control and Dr. Engel, for this opportunity. I want to draw the board's attention to two unanimous Supreme Court decisions that came out in 2024 regarding social media comments that were make it illegal to delete social media comments on official public forums, which I'm aware of an incident that happened last week. That was resolved, but in my review of the department's or of the district's policies, I noticed that it did not address O'Connor-Ratcliffe versus Garnier and Leakey versus Freed, which were two unanimous Supreme Court decisions regarding First Amendment rights in public social media forums. And I trust that your attorneys can handle that better than I can, so I wanted to draw that to your attention. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Good. Okay, this time we're going to look at our program spotlight.
Okay. And thank you, President Kittrell. When we think about preparing for a new school year, and we saw just a few pictures of that in the slides, our attention naturally goes to the classroom. We picture teachers planning lessons, principals welcoming their teams, and campuses preparing to receive students. Tonight's spotlight focuses on a dedicated group of employees whose work ethic and commitment ensure our schools are ready every day for teachers and students. The Clear Creek ISD Support Services Team. Long before the first student walked through our doors 2 weeks ago, this team was hard at work. For many, the day begins while most of us are still asleep. Some are up at 4 o'clock in the morning, preparing meals, inspecting buses, opening facilities, checking systems, responding to maintenance needs, and making sure everything is ready for students and staff. They ensure our students have a safe ride to school and a safe ride home. They ensure our schools are clean, comfortable, well-maintained, and secure. They ensure our students are fed. They renovate and repair facilities, prepare for emergencies, protect our campuses, and handle thousands of details most people never see. But that must happen every day for our schools to operate successfully. That is the work of our Support Services Division, a team of more than 1,000 employees led by Mr. Paul Miller. At its core, their work is about meeting the fundamental needs of students and staff. When a child is safe, fed, comfortable, and cared for, that child can focus on something much bigger, learning, growing, pursuing their dreams, and reaching their full potential. Mr. Miller and his leadership team are here this evening to highlight the behind-the-scenes work of this exceptional division. Child nutrition, facility services, maintenance and operations, safe and secure schools, Galveston County Sheriff Safe Schools North Division, and transportation. And I will now turn this over to Mr. Miller as we're going to split the team into two sections here. And he will share a little bit about each one, and then they're going to have an opportunity to provide some information to you.
Thank you, Dr. Engel. So tonight you'll hear from the leaders of these departments and get a glimpse behind the scenes to what it takes to prepare our schools for the first day of school. We'll begin with Fred Walker and our child nutrition team. Fred, Lacey Elliott, Robert Macarone lead a team of nearly 300 employees who ensure students have nutritious meals every school day. Mr. Walker will share highlights of the preparation that goes into serving our students from day one.
Okay, the first day of school is just a culmination of all the hard work that we've done starting in basically December after we've done the holiday meals, because that's about the time we start working on menus for the next year. What makes it really easy for us in our department, I'm not going to say easy because nothing is easy, but this is year 19, first day of school for Lacey, Robert, and I together. So, we've learned a lot of lessons over those 19 years. Lacey and them start in December working on menus. They develop menus. They hand them to Robert and his team. Middle to the end of the spring semester, they start sourcing all the products. Then the summer comes, and we're kind of getting everything going. About a week before school shows up, all of our employees show up, and we start putting everything together, getting orders in, making sure kitchens are set up, ready for the first day. It kind of sounds easy, but it takes a lot of work by all child nutrition employees. So this year, we have started off really hot. We're 10% over last year in total meals, and all that is on a 2.7% decrease in enrollment. So what that says is we have more kids coming in eating with us than what we had last year, of course, but we're getting some of those kids that never came in and ate with us to come in each and every day. So, I've looked at numbers past those 4 days, and they're continuing to be up here. So that's a good sign for the year.
Thank you, Fred, and a big thank you to the entire child nutrition team. They're a great group of folks. Our next team likes to describe itself as small but mighty. Mr. Alex Aragon leads our facility services team, overseeing construction projects and priority repairs projects across the district. Summer is especially busy for this group as they coordinate projects, manage contractors, address critical facility needs, and work against very tight deadlines to ensure campuses are ready when students and staff return. Mr. Aragon will review his team's accomplishments this summer. Perfect.
Firstly, I want to just give you guys a big thank you for allowing me to publicly thank my team who are here today. It's a great opportunity for me to say thank you for all the hard work that they do. Lindsay Davis is the PM, Tom Young, who's another PM, JT Buford, who's a PM, and Jamie Farb Goodsell, who is a coordinator and closeout specialist. Are very dedicated and they have an incredible amount of responsibility that they have to do every day. We may be a small team, but we are truly mighty. Being a project manager requires knowing a little bit about almost everything, from selecting paint colors and finishes to understanding complicated mechanical, structural, and electrical systems. More importantly, it requires the ability to make decisions, solve unexpected problems within hours, and keep projects moving forward while maintaining extremely tight schedules. Lindsay, Tom, JT, and Jamie consistently rise to that challenge. Their flexibility, knowledge, teamwork, and commitment are a huge part of what allows us to accomplish as much as we do with such a small group. We're certainly proof that the size of the team matters far less than the strength of the people on it. So now we'll jump to some fun projects that we were able to complete this summer. Again, like every summer. It's once the kids are out, it's all out Saturdays, Sundays to do whatever we have to do to get the work done. So one of the projects that JT was on was the Central Plan and Priority Repairs Project, which was at Brookwood, Ferguson, Ward, and Wedgwood elementaries. And the project entailed new cooling towers, VFDs and water pumps, new flooring, vinyl wall covering, and walking tracks, new kitchen walk-in coolers and freezers, and new exterior LED lighting and wayfinding signage. That's just a small portion of what we did. The next project, which Ms. Lindsay Davis was on, was the priority repairs and replacements for Hyde and North Point Elementary. And that was new HVAC water pumps, VFDs and hydronic piping, new flooring, vinyl wall covering and tile wainscot, new water heaters, walking tracks, and new theatrical lighting. The next project that Mr. Tom Young did was the Victory Lakes Intermediate Priority Repairs, which was new air handling units, emergency generator, lights, exhaust fans, fire sprinkler heads, smoke detectors, track curbs, and flooring. During this time, we were also able to squeeze in some priority repairs and replacements at the CSF and TLC, as well as finishing the metal roof replacements at Brookwood and Wedgwood. We also were able to accomplish phase 2 of the mini split units that service the IDF and MDF rooms that are critical to keep those rooms cool. And we did those at Clear Creek High School, Clear Falls High School, Bayside, Clear Creek, and League City Intermediate, Mossman, and Parr Elementary. And then we were able to complete the new marquees at Clear Creek Intermediate, Bowerschlag, Goforth, Mossman, North Point, Parr, and Ward Elementary. And I just ask that Lindsay, Tom, and JT stand up so that everybody can see who you are. I just wanted to give them a thank you. Thank you, guys. And then the last item I have is kind of a big thank you to our maintenance team. Several days before the new teachers arrived at Ross Elementary, they approached me regarding a potential humidity issue in the school. We started investigating and determined that we had to act fast. They had to act fast, and they were able to coordinate a team immediately and address all of the AC units that needed to be adjusted, and then bring in cleaning crews to clean everything before this became more of an air quality issue, which it did not, thanks to all of their hard work. And I want to thank them because they took a lot of their time and worked on Saturdays and Sundays, so that while other schools weren't able to do this, when they had similar problems, we were able to get it done and have school open in time. So a big shout out to Chris and his team for doing that, and us being able to work together, because we're now moving forward with that school, and we're trying to make some adjustments to the units to take care of the humidity.
Thank you, Alex, and thanks to the team. Y'all are awesome. Our buildings must also be clean, well-maintained, and operating properly every day. Mr. Chris Pitts, along with John Saturn and Solomon Sandoval, the assistant director, leads nearly 400 employees in maintenance and operations. This team ensures the lights come on, the air conditioning works, the grounds are maintained, and our schools are clean and ready for learning. Their work touches every classroom and every facility across our district. Mr. Pitts will share how his team prepared our schools for a successful start to the year.
So much like Fred alluded, our starts in early January, preparing for chiller annual inspections, cooling tower cleanings, just our summer work. So through the spring, we were actually, and Paul, I made a mistake on this, we did get all 89 chillers inspected and repaired. The other 2 were done under service contracts because they were new last year. So we only had to keep up with 87 of them. We were able to also get 63 of the 67 cooling towers cleaned, serviced, and PM'd. Alex and his team replaced the other 4, so we're 100% there too. Through some preventative maintenance budgeting, we were able to get contractors to clean over 1,500 individual HVAC coils. That represents over a third of the district, and we're currently hoping to stay on a 3-year cycle with that. We were able to complete gym floor refinishing at 14 intermediate and high school fields, or gym floors, and then the 6 competition gym floors at high schools are done every year as well. So we got 20 of them done this year. We'll do another 20 next year. Emergency generator inspection, testing, and repair at all campuses. That was completed annually as normal. Our gas testing was completed at half our schools. It's a 2-year cycle. We were able to complete all of our necessary backflow testing at all campuses. We were able to complete damper inspections, which is kind of new for us, but making sure the fire dampers are in working order. It's a 4-year rotation, and we got our first 13 campuses done this year. Through some creative hiring practices with student workers, including Mr. Miller's son, we were able to get 17 campuses, fire lanes pressure washed, get the old paint off, get new paint down, and also Mr. Saturn's son was with us, which gets us on a 3-year rotation now for the first time. We've always had to kind of fill in stuff in the school year and squeeze some in, and always fell a few short. This year we were able to actually get it done. And then, of course, we do a full detail cleaning of all buildings from ceiling to floor, including restorative carpet care. So my team, we start every morning early. I have somebody in the shop at 5 o'clock. I'm up before then. We're looking at HVAC, building automation, make sure that chillers are running, that air handlers are running, make sure schools are cool ready for arrival. At 5:30, we have a quick text thread that we brief everybody on. If communication needs to go out to campuses, it's usually done by 6 a.m. So that they know, hey, we have an issue, but we're on it, because some of the teachers get there early and they start calling their principal if it's hot. So we also have a 1 o'clock meeting every day to review the issues that don't necessarily make it to the morning thread, but to other things that come up during the day. We keep that going through at least mid-October until things start cooling off a little bit and there's a little less pressure. What else we doing there? We extend run times for campuses that struggle. I've got a gym right now in elementary that is going to run 24/7 until we can get the repairs made later this week. Just trying to make things as comfortable for everybody as possible. Got that order. So just a view of what we start looking at in the mornings. Green is good, red not so much. We try to avoid that as much as possible. We go through all 52 buildings like that, just to make sure that everything's working like it should. When we start seeing problems, we start diving down into it, get in the weeds a little bit. We start obviously with campus-wide problems, then area-wide problems that impact, the most instruction, then we'll dive into rooms. We've actually been able to get into a few individual rooms this year because of the preventative maintenance in the summer, the chillers and the coil cleanings, where we're sending technicians out for a single classroom first week of school. That's not typical. So again, some of the stuff we're monitoring every day, all day, gets a little detailed, and I don't know enough about it how to explain it, but.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you to our maintenance and our custodial teams. They do amazing work. Nothing we do is more important than keeping students and staff safe. Cameron Munson leads our Safe and Secure Schools Department, which includes emergency dispatch, emergency management, and nearly 60 crossing guards and campus security monitors. Their work requires constant planning, preparation, training, communication, and coordination to ensure we are ready for the daily safety needs of our schools and the situations we hope never occur. Cameron will share how this team has prepared for this school year.
Thank you, Paul. I have the good luck, I guess, to not be as busy as maintenance and facilities in the summer, because when there are fewer students and staff, fewer things that we have to deal with. But we do still do a lot of planning, emergency planning for the coming school year, right? Making sure everything's ready to go. One thing we always do, especially for the start of school at our elementary campuses, is extra coverage for those schools. We bring in outside law enforcement officers, extra Galveston County officers to kind of help make sure that we've got that presence out at all of our schools, so that students come into the buildings, staff that have been there working the last 3 weeks getting ready for them, they know that we're taking care of their safety and their security. So this year, Galveston County provided us 4 extra deputies. Houston Police Department provided us 2 officers. UTMB Police Department provided us 2 officers, and Webster Police, they typically send at least a couple. They gave us 3 this year. Again, all at that elementary level. One of the reasons that we like doing this is it helps us build those partnerships that Principal Tite said were so important. It also makes sure that we don't have to pull too much from our intermediate and high school campuses to fill those gaps. My office extends our hours. Typically, we're open until 5. It says on the slide 6, but we'll hang out until Tammy and her team are all clear that first week, just to make sure there aren't any issues. And then Captain Rollins this year was over in transportation, helping with them. I'll let him share a little bit more about that. We're lucky this year. We started off with fewer crossing guard vacancies. Always looking for them, so if y'all know anybody, please send them my direction. But that team, in the hot, especially right now, in the rain, in the cold later on, they're always out there making sure their students get to school, as safely as possible. So a big shout out to them. But yeah, we're looking forward to another good school year. That is correct. Yes, we have a lot that work two or three schools, so they're moving in between them pretty often. It's surprising. I say surprising. It's not surprising at all. They know all their kids' names at both those schools too. So we have a very dedicated group, very good group of crossing guards.
Thank you, Cameron. Thanks to your entire team. They do amazing work as well. That commitment to safety extends to our strong partnership with the Galveston County Sheriff's Office of Safe Schools North Division. Under the leadership of Captain Seth Rollins, 47 officers serve our schools. These officers do far more than respond to emergencies. They are part of the school community, building relationships with students and staff while partnering closely with campus and district leaders to maintain safe learning environments. Captain Rollins will share how school resource officers prepared for the new school year.
Good evening. Our preparation for the new school year started as soon as school got out last school year. The summer is a busy time for us because that's when everybody takes the opportunity. We do a lot of training over the summer. This summer we had our SBLE training all summer long. So we had officers going through basic, intermediate, advanced, and master's levels SBLE training classes. We had 4 of our deputies graduate with their master's SBLE license. And they get that after they completed the 4 modules that are offered during the summer. Additional training we did 2 additional firearms training classes. We invited 2 of our SWAT team trainers to come down here, and we did additional room clearing at Clear Creek High School over the summer. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays were their least favorite days. Those are mandatory PT days. At the end of our day during the summer, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we would do group PT. Everybody that was working would do PT. Tuesdays and Thursdays would be like weight training and hit training. And Wednesdays, we would be in the wrestling room at Clear Creek High School for defensive tactics. We ended the summer out teaming up with transportation. We did a school bus safety training. That's the first one that we partnered with, and it went really well with our division and transportation. The way we handled the start of school this year, we took all of our K-9 officers, our rovers, and the lieutenant and myself and spread them out amongst the elementary schools to help cover elementary schools for the first week of school. The elementary schools that we couldn't cover, again, we brought in officers from the Houston Police Department, UTMB Police Department, Webster Police Department, and our own agency to cover the rest. All of my supervisors adjusted their hours for the first week of school. So all sergeants, the lieutenant, and myself, we stayed on until the last student was dropped off district-wide. Myself and a sergeant stayed with transportation dispatch the first week of school until that very last bus secured, so that if there were any issues, we can get them all handled quickly and efficiently.
Thank you, Captain. And thanks to all of our 47 officers. That's great work they do every day to support all of our departments as well as all of the campuses. It's really been a great partnership. Finally, for thousands of students, the school day begins long before they walk through the doors of their campus. It begins when they step onto a school bus, and our responsibility does not end until those students return home safely. Tammy Pickett, along with Teresa Verdall and Stephen Shires, leads more than 320 transportation employees, including bus drivers, personal care attendants, mechanics, and support staff. Before the first bus rolls, routes must be developed, buses inspected and maintained, and drivers and attendants trained and prepared. Most of these employees begin their work well before sunrise. Ms. Pickett will share the extensive preparations her department's made to ensure students arrive safely at school and return home safely each day.
Thank you. This is way before, I mean, way after we're there. So I just want to make sure that you all know that. It's usually dark. Our staff usually gets there. The first 2 weeks of school is all hands on deck first. We're there at 4:30. Some of us a little before 4 or a little after 4 until 6:30, 7. All depends on what's going on and how many fires we have to put out that evening. But I want to actually, before all of this happens, before the first bus even leaves the lot, and continue the last, because it continues until the last student is actually dropped off. I want to bring to light some of our teammates that if it wasn't for them, none of this would be able to happen. So maintaining a rigorous preventive maintenance program for all transportation vehicles would be Kyle Mulligan and Charles Peer. Providing ongoing training for drivers and transportation staff on student safety, emergency procedures, defensive driving, and district policies is Beverly Whitmire. Carefully planning and reviewing bus routes to maximize safety and efficiency is Melissa Sandoval. Maintaining communication systems that allows drivers, dispatchers, schools, and emergency responders to coordinate quickly when needed is Ashley Walker. This is a little bit out of whack, so I apologize. So the routes were completed early this year compared to 24-25 and 25-26, which is because of the dedication of our team. We are also, last week, started conducting emergency preparedness drills, evacuations, and reviewing student management at the campus level, as you can see in our pictures. That just actually happened with all of our elementary students. Through careful planning, we'll go to that. Through careful planning, continuous training, vehicle maintenance, and strong commitment to safety, the CCISD Transportation Department strives to provide every student with safe, reliable, and positive transportation experience every day. I cannot express enough gratitude for these dedicated individuals, as well as the rest of our transportation staff. Their commitment, professionalism, and teamwork makes this work possible. It's not just one person. Ensuring the safe transportation of students is truly a team effort, and our success depends on every person working together towards the same goal, getting students to and from school safely each day. And I'll go into some of it's our vacancies. We have some of those, but it's all good.
Well, the point being that they've done such great work that all of our buses are have air conditioned. They're constantly having to work on those during these hot times of the year, but they've done an amazing job getting those buses ready for school. I know you remember back in 23, we were getting on buses with ice chests and water, and it's really been a great turnaround, and our team really came together and made that happen. So thank you, and thanks to our
Thank you.
our
And
wonderful.
I wish they stand up, please.
Man, I love it. So, as you've seen tonight, a successful start to the school year requires months of preparation and the dedication of more than 1,000 support services employees working behind the scenes every day. Whether it's preparing meals, maintaining facilities, transporting students, or keeping our campuses safe and secure, each team plays a vital role in supporting student success. I am incredibly proud of these employees and the professionalism, commitment, and care they bring to their work. This is a world-class team. On behalf of the entire Support Services Division, thank you for your support and recognition of these outstanding teams. We are honored to serve the students, staff, and families and community of Clear Creek ISD. This concludes our presentation, and we would be happy to answer any questions or comments.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right, I'll open up. Trustees, comments, questions? Go ahead, Jay. Sorry. Go ahead.
My goodness, I'm totally overwhelmed. So I think when people drive past schools, they think of students and teachers, right? They don't think of everything that your 1,000 people are doing every day at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And thank you. All I can say is just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I mean, our children are safe, they're fed, they're cool, they have everything. And I think a lot of us just assume we don't realize everything that goes into what you're doing every single day, starting that planning back in December to make sure that everything is perfect for our 37,000 students and our teachers and our faculty and all of our employees. And you all are the heartbeat of what goes on in this school district, and all I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lilly. All right, go ahead, Cunningham.
All right. That is hard to follow. I'm just going to address Fred Nutrition. Thank you for taking care of that account setup for the first week of school. I know some of us trustees, as we visited campuses, realized parents were having an issue, and we wanted to make sure our students were fed. So thank you for taking care of that. Paul, I know you were instrumental in that as well. Next, I'll go to Building Services team. Lindsay, how many years of service have you worked in the district? 13 or 14. Tom, I see you have your bodyguard with you. So you better act right. How many years of service? 49. And JT, total years of service? 15. So I wanted to highlight that because these are folks that we see periodically. We don't know exactly what they do unless you've been around for a while. And I'll take Ross for a couple, going back a couple years ago. Drove past it right around, in the summertime, and hearing from neighbors and everything else, is the school going to be ready? Is the school going to be ready? And having the confidence to tell them, excuse my French, come hell or high water, it's going to be ready. It's going to be ready. And it was. And it was. From putting the glass in the library, last minute punch outs, things of that nature that the average person doesn't see, including Paul grabbing a shovel and digging trenches and sprinkler systems and everything else. So thank you for what you do. Can't sing your praises enough because, as Trustee Lilly said, these are things that the average person either doesn't know or doesn't realize. So thank you for that. Chris, I also wanted to highlight maintenance because a lot of people don't understand keeping our buildings clean. The department has lost, I think, about 50 to 60 people over the years. And I'm going back to 2010, right around that 2008, 2010, area. And so people don't realize working on a rotation, things of that nature. And I kind of tell our new parents, if you want to know what's going on in schools, your custodians and your SROs know our kids and know what's happening in our schools. That goes for transportation as well. Next, I'll go to Cameron and Captain Rollins. Thank you. You do yourself a disservice because people don't realize door checks that are going on. When you drive through during the summertime, they don't realize the drills that are happening. I happened to pass Creek that day, and I'm like, oh, they must have a drill. When you see all of the agency, cars, Creekside, same way. I think they had a drill there as well. So these are things that, once again, getting prepared for the school year that a lot of people don't see, but that's what's happening. So thank you. And like I said, if people knew door checks, taking care of, doors that aren't locking properly, and addressing all the little things that add up during the course of the school year. So thank you for what you do. And last, transportation. Trustee Sanchez and I, when we go around the schools, we make a point to see our drivers. And I'm just going to highlight one of the drivers at Clear Lake Intermediate. Had some issues, over the summer, but what did he say?
He said he had to be back for the students.
For the students. Mm-hmm. He said, I was doing everything I could to make sure I was ready for the first day. Mm-hmm. And then we also visited with one of the drivers at Clearview. I think she's a substitute driver, but been driving for 16 years. And kind of the same thing. She goes, I just love interacting with our students.
And don't forget Rosie, the crossing guard. She's at multiple stops, but she will not turn down a selfie if you're willing to take a picture with her. So
once again, Rosie at Armand Bayou.
Yeah.
And that's how I know that a lot of our crossing guards cover 2 schools. Because as soon as she got done, she goes, oh, I'd like to sit and chat, but I got to book it to, my intermediate campus. So these are the things, like I said, if you want to know what's happening in school, talk to the people that are working in your schools. Once again, cannot thank the team enough. You guys make us look good. And I'm also going to call out Paul, technology, maintenance. Whenever we encounter issues, and I got on Chris the other day, I said, I know I have your cell phone, but, we'll reach out and say, hey, we observed this at this school. You guys are on top of it. Greatly appreciated, because you guys make us look good, right? But it starts with you. And so you said it before, world-class staff in a world-class organization. Just can't thank you guys enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Cunningham. All right, and next.
Yeah, I think it's mostly been said. I don't really have a whole lot to add here, but it's been my privilege to go around and to go into the bus garages, to go into the support facilities, to go into the campuses during the summer and see them all tore apart, especially if they're being refurbished, and watch all that come back together and get ready for another year. And I just want to say it's a very, very professional organization. We trustees, we know what's going on because we get all the communications. We see everything that breaks and gets fixed, and all the work that gets done. The public really doesn't see much, and that's a credit to y'all, because stuff just gets handled. And I really want to express, I think I speak for all of us, we're so grateful that you do that. I hope we never get too complacent about what you guys do. And I certainly hope we never take it for granted, because it's just always there and it always works. And we want you to know we really appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Trustee Larson. Let's check in.
And I'll just echo what everyone has said. You guys do an amazing job at keeping our district running. I think, like it's been said, the parents don't necessarily see that, and that's okay sometimes, because that means you're doing your job and it's just flawless. So I think that's a great testament to the work that you and your teams are doing, for us to be able to offer that world-class education. And like Trustee Larson said, we see you guys because we go and make those visits, and we know the hard work you guys are doing, but please know that it doesn't go unnoticed by any of us. And the fact that the parents aren't seeing you guys up in front, that means you're doing what you need to be doing to make it run so effortlessly. So thank you guys for all the hard work you do in the early mornings. And that bus picture is amazing. that is a gorgeous sunrise picture. I wish I was up that early to see that.
Thank you, Trustee Cheka. All right, Ms. Sanchez.
I'm going to echo everything that folks have said. Words that come to mind: responsible, dependable, creative, innovative, disciplined, responsive, and proud. And I think as we spend the first couple of weeks getting out to campuses, and whether you are opening car doors or whether you're walking the halls, if you're talking to the officers that are on campus or stepping in a bus to ask a bus driver how things are going, if you're talking to a crossing guard or someone who's serving breakfast to students as they first walk in, every single person, there's no question, recognizes that regardless of the environment that we're in, the larger environment that we're in, that in CCISD, the focus remains on students and teachers and making sure this is a great place to learn and to work. And so without all of the things that you all do day in and day out, whether it's summer, whether it's in the middle of the night, over a holiday, early mornings, I think what we know, what we have high confidence in is that it just happens. You all do it with discipline, similar to how every other department in this district is managed. And so all I can say is thank you for that.
Thank you, Trustee Sanchez. Come on.
Thank you. I'm going to get them home.
There you go. And echoing everything everyone has said, this reminds me of a book I read where everybody has their role, right? There's the titles that everybody carries, but underneath everybody, we're all educators. Y'all are all educators because everything you do helps that child have a better experience. And if somebody doesn't do their job, then the experience is impacted. And y'all are the behind the scenes educators. The teachers are in the classroom, but y'all are still making education happen, and we appreciate you very much. So hopefully everybody's cards will say educator, from now on. But it really does make a difference. Everybody who's cleaning, who is driving, helping them cross the road, they make the experience what it is and make it better. So we appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. So. Anything else? All right. Thank you. Yeah, 4 a.m. is going to come quick for y'all. All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for that wonderful spotlight. All right, and with that, we will step into our next action item, which is our consent agenda. Are there any items anybody would like to pull?
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Checker.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Checker. All right. Motion is on the floor. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And no opposed. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. All right. And our next item is our budget.
Okay. Annually, the administration presents a budget for approval by the Board of Trustees. The board is responsible for approving the General Fund M&O, Debt Service Fund, INS, and Child Nutrition Fund budgets by function for the coming fiscal year, September 1st, 26 through August 31st, 27. The proposed budget reflects the board's budget goals, assumptions, priorities, and identified risk. Before Ms. Benzai begins her presentation, I would like to recognize her and her finance team for the tremendous amount of work represented in this document. Public school finance has become increasingly complex, requiring thoughtful planning amid significant uncertainties in both revenues and expenditures. Ms. Benzai's expertise, diligence, and sound judgment have allowed our district to navigate these challenges while maintaining a strong financial position. Her leadership provides the stability and confidence that enables us to remain focused on our core mission, empowering every student with a world-class education. At this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Benzai to present the proposed 26-27 budget.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Engel. So this represents our final action for the 26-27 budget adoption. This is our budget for general fund, debt service, and child nutrition, broken down at functional level. And I think we've reviewed everything there is to review about this budget. I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Benzai. I'll open it up. Any other questions? Go ahead, Trustee Sanchez.
Thank you, Ms. Benz. I know we've had quite a bit of discussion about this over the last few meetings. I wondered, I know in our earlier session you talked a little bit about the tax rate, and I wonder if you could provide just maybe some historical perspective for our community about where that rate has been and where it stands today as we consider passing this budget based on what you talked about earlier and then what's presented here.
Sure, and we will recommend the tax rate in September and have additional information then, but our tax rate currently is at the lowest level it's been in 30 years, so it's very low, both on the M&O and the INS side. One of the slides I like to see is how in Region 4 out of the 27 school districts in Region 4, we have, I believe, the 4th lowest tax rate and the 3rd highest accountability rating. So we're very proud of that. But we are, careful with our tax rate. We watch it. We have additional room to grow on the M&O side with additional, I believe there's 9 additional pennies, copper pennies, and then on the tax rate, we watch it and we're holding it, try to keep it as low as we can and just ask for what we need. So we've been able to hold that at low historical levels.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sanchez. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move the board approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 general fund, debt service fund, and child nutrition fund budgets by function as presented.
All right, thank you, Trustee McKay. All right, motion is on the floor. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And no opposed, motion passes 7-0. Right. Thank you, Ms. Benzai. All right, and next up is our attendance.
And Ms. Benzai will present a recommendation to consider approval of an agreement for the purchase of attendance credit.
TEA notified the district on July 15th that it is subject to recapture. That is also known, formerly known as Robin Hood, under the old Chapter 41. It requires that if a district's local M&O tax revenue exceeds what the state formula says you're entitled to keep, you must reduce that excess through one of several statutory options. The district must submit its intent in a signed agreement by September 1st. We may not adopt a tax rate for 2026 until the Commissioner of Education certifies that our district has reduced our local revenue level in excess of entitlement. So school districts with local revenue level in excess of the entitlement may execute an agreement with the Commissioner to purchase attendance credits in an amount sufficient to reduce the district's local revenue to the level established under Section 48.257. Purchasing attendance credits, which is option 3, is the most common of the 5 options that districts use. So recapture is driven by property wealth per student relative to the state formula. It's a function of local tax base growth, often rising property values. And in CCISD's case, it would only come into play if we added copper pennies onto our tax rate. So one note before we request your approval on this is that the superintendent's recommendation, which is long, must be fully read as provided so that we can provide the minutes to TEA with the full recommendation and approval. Okay. And with that, I will open it up for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Benzai. All right, any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, Mr. President, I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Trustees for the 2026-2027 school year delegate contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code 11.1511C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under TEC 48.257 and TEC Chapter 49, Subchapters A and D, and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as authorized under TEC 49.006. This includes approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, netting Chapter 48 funding.
Thank you, Trustee Lilly. Great job. All right. Motion has been read on the floor. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. No opposed. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Benzai. All right, at this time, it's 7:21. The board will now move to a closed session as authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act concerning purposes permitted by the specific Texas Government Code sections listed on the agenda. All right, it's 7:29. We're back in session and no other business on the agenda, and this meeting is adjourned at 7:29.